Dear students, we have classes on communicative English, interview techniques, media literacy, sustainable development, body language, self-empowerment, study techniques, and eco-justice principles. This is the last class in this course. You will be included in our WhatsApp group. We request you to attend the classes on Tuesdays regularly. Let us begin today's class with a story. The story has 4 parts. You might be knowing the first part. This is about the story of tortoise and hare. Once upon a time, a tortoise and a hare had an argument about who was faster. Hare is saying, I am the fastest. That is not true. The fastest runner is me. They decided to settle the argument with a race. They agreed on a route. They started off the race. Fine. Okay, let us have the race. The hare shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing that he was far ahead of tortoise, he thought he would sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. Poor guy. Even if I take a nap, he could not catch up with me. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The tortoise, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as undisputed champ. Hare woke up and realized that he had lost the race. What is the moral of the story? You may be getting higher marks in the exams. Do not be proud of that. Pride goes before a fall. In a class, there are students of different caliber. Some can understand and respond quickly. Sometimes you may not be in that category. You need not worry. Then you study slowly for getting good marks. I have heard students say, I am not intelligent. For success, intelligence, background, and money are not necessary. If you are consistent in your work, you will win the race, even if you are slow. Success will be yours. Those who are poor in studies should understand the style of tortoise and imitate tortoise. You will be a successful person. The story continues. The hare was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some soul searching. He realized that he had lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there is no way the tortoise could have beaten him. So he challenged the tortoise to another race. The tortoise agreed. Okay, can we have another race? This time, the hare went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. What is the moral of the story? Hare regretted on his mistake. He made an introspection. What was the weak point that led to the failure? Laziness and overconfidence led to the failure. Hare corrected it and won the race. You should have an introspection. This is a good time to look back. What were my failures last year? I had the ability to do things efficiently. However, I did not use its total capacity. I did not use my ability in its fullness in my curricular and extracurricular activities, how many hours I had wasted last year, how many hours I had spent on unnecessary things. You need a correction in your life. If you correct your mistakes, you will become a smart, successful person in your life. It is good to be slow and steady, but it is better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end here. The tortoise did some thinking this time and realized that there is no way he can beat the hare in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and challenged the hare to another race, but on a slightly different route. The hare agreed. Can we have another race? This time we will go through a different route. The hare said, sure. They started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the hare took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The hare sat there wondering what to do. In the meantime, the tortoise trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. What is the moral of the story? Tortoise also had an introspection. He identified his core competency. What is his core competency? He can move on the land and in water. Hare cannot. He made a mistake by competing with a fast runner. I am not a competent person to run with hare. You have to identify your core competency. God made you with a unique quality. God made each and everyone in this world with a unique quality. You have to find it out. For that, you have to participate in extracurricular activities. Dale Carnegie was a well-known personality in public speaking. He had an institute for public speaking. In his childhood, he had decided to become a football player. His performance was very poor. His several attempts failed. Then he had an introspection. Why I wanted to become a football player? He loved the applause the football players were getting. He had a talent for public speaking. He developed it and became an internationally known public speaker. God has created each and everyone with an intrinsic value and a purpose. No idiots or fools are in this world. I had a student who was very poor in chemistry. I scolded him several times, but of no avail. But then I became friend to him. He told me his story. He used to go to the sea at 1 a.m. in the morning to catch fish. With that fish, he went to the market to sell it. And only after that, he came to the college. He was not interested in chemistry. Then I asked him, why did you take chemistry? He answered, the principal told me that the only seat available was in chemistry. So I was compelled to join the chemistry course. With my help, he got admission in zoology. Now he is a scientist at Fisheries University. In the sight of a chemistry teacher, he may not be intelligent. When he selected the subject of his interest, he became an expert. I had another student who was dull in chemistry. I asked him what subject he was interested in. He told me that he was interested in singing. Then I directed him to join the music college. Now he is a good singer and is minting money. In the sight of a chemistry teacher, he may not be an intelligent boy. You are the wonderful creation of God. The parable of talents in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30, tells of a master who was leaving his house on a journey and before leaving, entrusted his property to his servants. According to the abilities of each man, one servant received 5 talents. The second had received 2. Then the third received only 1. Remember, God has given talents to each student. The first and the second servants identified their talents and flourished. The third one could not identify his talent or its significance. My dear students, you are the wonderful creation of God. You came to this beautiful earth with an intrinsic value and a purpose. Identify your core competency and show it before the public. When you get an opportunity, you have to present it. I have given you the opportunity here to welcome, propose vote of thanks, and offer prayer. Some of you utilize that opportunity. It would be best if you become an expert in your field. Then getting employment will not be difficult. The story still hasn't ended. The hare and the tortoise, by this time, had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So they decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. Great. I think we could do it much better if we two help each other. Hi, buddy. How about doing our last race again? They started off, and this time hare carried the tortoise till the river bank. There, the tortoise took over and swam across with the hare on his back. On the opposite bank, the hare again carried the tortoise, and they reached the finishing line together. They both felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they had felt earlier. The moral of the story: it is good to be individually brilliant, but to have strong core competencies. But unless you are able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you will always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you will do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. There are more lessons to be learned from this story. Note that neither hare nor tortoise gave up after failures. The hare decided to work harder and put in more effort after his failure. The tortoise changed his strategy because he was already working as hard as he could. In life, when faced with failure, sometimes it is appropriate to work harder and put in more effort. Sometimes it is appropriate to change strategy and try something different. And sometimes it is appropriate to do both. The hare and the tortoise also learned another vital lesson. When we stop competing against a rival and instead start competing against the situation, we perform far better. This is a model number 1. When Roberto took over as the chief executive officer of Coca-Cola in 1980s, he was faced with intense competition from Pepsi that was eating into Coke's growth. His executives were Pepsi focused and intent on increasing the market share 0.1% at a time. Roberto decided to stop competing against Pepsi and instead compete against a situation of 0.1% growth. He asked his executives what was the average fluid intake of an American per day. The answer was 14 ounces. What was Coke's share of that? Only 2 ounces. Roberto said Coke needed a larger share of that market. The competition wasn't with Pepsi. The competition should be with water, tea, coffee, milk, and fruit juices that went into the remaining 12 ounces. The public should reach for a Coke whenever they felt like drinking something. Whenever they are thirsty, they should not take milk, juice, or something like that. If Coke is there, they should take Coke. To this end, Coke put up vending machines at every street corner. Sales took up a quantum jump, and Pepsi has never quite caught up since. Number 2, model 2. A shoe company took 2 MBA graduates as marketing executives. The company sent the first person to a remote place in Africa to study the possibility of marketing their shoes. The first man visited the place and studied the condition of that region. After 1 week, he sent a report stating that the people in this region were not wearing shoes. They don't know the importance of wearing shoes. Hence, we have no market in this area. After a month, the company sent a second person to the same place. After studying the situation, he sent a report. The same situation, but we have a good opportunity as there is no other shoe company here. There won't be any competition. We can educate the people and we will get the monopoly over our shoes here. This is the model number 3. Do not compete with your rival. Situational leadership is very important. There was a CSI school with a strength of 700 students located in a remote village. One fine morning, another multinational company started a school near this school. Attracted by the ample facilities in the new school, parents withdrew the students from the CSI LP school and admitted them into the new school. As the school strength decreased to 90, the headmaster of the school sent a complaint to the district authorities. The rivalry between the two schools went on for some time. As per the government rules, the CSI school became uneconomic. A new headmistress was posted to the CSI lower primary school. She joined in the green school program of the CSI Senate. The teachers and students jointly audited air, water, waste, food, land, and energy. The students calculated the volume, area, water availability, nature of waste, problems of the junk food, biodiversity of their land, how to measure energy, etc. The primary school students, through this method, studied maths, chemistry, physics, biology, computer operation, and environmental science during this auditing work. They planted medicinal plants on the school campus and exhibited its name and uses on a board near the plant. The teachers became facilitators and the students became significant personalities. During the district competitions, singing, elocution, mono-act, dance, the students of CSI school fared well. The hidden talents of the primary school students came out during this methodology of teaching. The reputation of the school went up. Now the application of the students to get admission in the CSI LP school are on the waiting list. The strength of the school is 750, which is the maximum. This is called situational leadership, and do not compete with your rival. In summary, to sum up, the story of the hare and the tortoise teaches us many things. Never give up when faced with failure. Fast and consistent will always beat slow and steady. Work to your competencies. Compete against the situation, not against a rival. Pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performers. I would like to conclude with a personal story. In 2004, I got an invitation from UNESCO to address a meeting in Barcelona. I was surprised by this invitation. I also wondered whether I was a competent person to address a UNESCO meeting. I verified and found that the invitation was real. It was a surprising news to all. I was really excited and overjoyed. I prepared a good speech. I had given the money to a local travel agent for visa and flight ticket and applied for 2 weeks leave from the college. The travel agent assured me that he would bring the ticket and the visa up before my departure. The teachers in my college, the Dyson Bishop, and others offered good luck for my travel. While I was packing my luggage for the travel agent informed me that the embassy had rejected my visa. I became upset and disappointed and almost fainted. Everybody at home also became gloomy. Immediately, I sent an email to Barcelona informing that I could not reach there. Hence, I was sending my speech. Immediately, I got a phone call from UNESCO office in Barcelona. They said, so far, no embassy had denied a visa for a program of UNESCO. On inquiry, they found that I had not even applied for visa. The travel agent had cheated me. Again, I became more disappointed. I lost a golden opportunity to address UNESCO meeting. While I was lying on the bed at 7 p.m., I got another call from Barcelona. Koshy, you are the only person attending this program from India. You have to come. You have to present your application to the consul at Delhi. He may give visa to you. Make arrangements. We will call you after half an hour. Immediately, I contacted another travel agent. He said that there was no ticket in the economic class. The only seat was available in business class from Delhi. The cost of the ticket is 1.5 lakhs. I became upset again. Where can I get 1.5 lakhs at 7:30 p.m. for travel? Again, I got a call from Barcelona. I told them all these things. Normally, we will not pay this much. As we have no other person from India, we will pay. Now the problem was to find 1.5 lakhs. Another problem, they were not giving assurance about visa and was asking me to try it. I contacted an international travel agency at Kochi. I introduced myself and told them the problem. As I was an active college lecturer, they agreed to advance money for my travel. At 10 p.m., I started my journey to Kochi airport and boarded the flight to New Delhi at 6 a.m. Everything was uncertain. If I didn't get a visa, I might lose around 2 lakhs besides my embarrassment. I applied the visa at the Spanish embassy in Delhi and waited outside the gate praying. At 2 p.m., I telephoned the consul. He told me we usually issue visa only after 7 days. We have considered your case as a special case and will issue the visa within 3 hours. Then I reached Barcelona and addressed the meeting and came back. One of my friends, Mr. G. Balajendran, an HR expert, was following all these things and showering encouragement words to boost my morale. After 3 months, he was addressing a meeting in CMS College, Kottayam. At the end of his speech, Mr. Balajendran explained the pain and agony I had suffered for attending a UNESCO program at Barcelona. Then he said, "Do you know why he got visa? Because of his passion for ecology." Remember, if you have a passion for a subject, God will intervene and solve it if you have a crisis. My dear students, if you have a passion, God will intervene and solve it if you have to face a crisis for that. This is my concluding message I have to give you. Thank you very much.